rice. I definitely want some rice. Stop putting things in my cart. Here we go. It was like hidden. Perfect. Food is ordered. Oh, sing. Yes. I'm like over like cheering for America. Like, why are we singing about America? In my opinion, who GAF? All right, putting the phone down. It's mania time, baby. Food is ordered. Sushi is on the fucking way. It's mania time. Last day of mania. Let's get it together. Let's get it going. Hi, Marshy. Hi, June. Thank you. Oh, he's singing. Ugh, people have their hand over their heart. Get over yourself. America isn't that great. I remember when we did the pledge in school and I would not get up. I would literally sit down. Oh, GAF. It was early in the morning too. The Pledge of Allegiance. Excuse me, I'm not standing up and ruining my breakfast. I would literally bring, like, you're not supposed to bring breakfast into the classes. I would bring my breakfast, not stand up, and literally DJAF while the pledge is going and just eat my fucking Cheerios. I was like, who cares? I'm not pledging to the allegiance. I'm not pledging to anybody. Why is this, like, Kevin Rock cameo happening? Like, what's happening? He's not even there. It's just a pre-recorded thing. Of course he's not there, because he can never do anything right. Oh! Not a fan of that man. We already have so many new champions, it's actually insane. I don't know. I don't think it'll ever be the same. I just think it's in a good spot right now. I wouldn't say great, but it's in an okay spot. We'll see how it goes with them possibly going with UFC, but I mean, they say this about everything every week. Like, remember when we were like, oh yeah, Saudi Arabia's buying WWE, and then whatever is happening with WWE, like, things come and go with WWE and their management, so we'll see what the fuck happens. I feel like Drew, Sheamus, and Gunther is gonna be probably one of the best matches of the night. I'm so excited for that. My daddy better retain. Gunther. The way they're literally both in that match just to put Gunther over too, like there's no way he's not retaining. If someone takes that title off Gunther, waste of fucking time. I hope so. I hope Bianca retains. I don't know. I love Asuka, but if Bianca's gonna go out, I never thought about this until this moment right here. If Bianca's gonna go out and lose her title, I want it to be a good feud. Like, I want it to be a juicy feud that she is gonna lose it. Like, I want it to be like Charlotte. Like, Charlotte could unfortunately end Bianca's reign and then put the next girl over. I know people will be mad about it, but like, it would be a great match, and then like Liv can win it or something. Max. Oh, Snoop's looking fine in the little sweatsuit. Miz looking sexy AF again. That's my daddy. Okay, we have to make a list of all my crushes from WWE. Miz is up there. Gunther's up there. I'm gonna make a list. Hold on, I'm gonna make a list. Wes is up there. Wes is actually my baby. So, daddy list from WWE. Wes, Lee, Miz, Gunther. Oh, LA Knight, Austin Theory. Sparkle Suit is so fruity. Well, that's the Miz, not Sparkle Suit. Oh, Carmelo Hayes. I mean, might as well start with the worst of the night. I mean, go ahead. Yeah, literally, my food's getting delivered, so like, good that this is happening, because I don't want to waste my food watching some shit show. Oh, they're really trying to make him sound good. Sorry. This is such a bizarre match. I don't know. Oh my. Oh, Corey Graves. Okay. I don't know. I heard that Omos's theme was good and they changed it. I'm like, what the? It's crazy that Omos is in shape and he's 410 pounds. It's literally just his height that's adding the weight. Like, that's crazy. Oh me, oh my. Yeah, he's a face right now. He's like a cowboy funny guy. Brock Lesnar. I'm not even gonna fix my bra straps. I can't. Oops, my bra strap fell off. Oh, oh my goodness. Just fell right off. Oh. I'm so excited to record the podcast with my girls. Oh, he's got a beat on. Oh, I see some pressed powder under those eyes, Omos. I see it. The pop for Brock? Oh, wow. It's night and day. And what if I said Brock Lesnar's kind of hot? Oh. Oh. Not with the rat tail. He needs to cut the rat tail. Well, we know he's a bit fruity because when he matched with Austin Theory, he got a little boner. So, and he did that kiss back in the day. So I think Brock likes some T-girls. Brock, if you need a T-girl fantasy, I'm your girl. Let me add Brock to the list of daddies. Oh, let me add Sheamus. Sheamus. I like Drew. He's very sexy, but I'm going to leave it to other people. Oh, Seth. Seth needs to be put up there. Seth. Who was on the card yesterday? It was Ray and Dom, Sammy and Kevin, the oh, Jay Usos needs to be in here. Jay, Roman, Cody. Brock was king of the ring? What the? Why do I not remember that? What do you mean? Why they like, look at the power of Omos. He like barely picked him up and tossed him. Like, no shade at all to Omos. I just think the booking is bizarre. Like, they want me to believe that Brock Lesnar, one of the greatest of all time, one of the strongest people dominant in the ring, is gonna falter to Omos that is just starting out and he's tall. It's a bit strange to me. Also, if Brock loses to Omos, Brock is the one that ended Undertaker's streak, by the way, at WrestleMania. So if he loses to Omos, I'll have some words. This picture? Oh, he's mad. He was supposed to have one working with Bray, but he refused because he has so much control over his booking. I mean, he's one of the most paid superstars. So... oh me, oh my. The way MVP is still with WWE actually boggles my mind. Like, he's just a manager nowadays. It's actually kind of insane. Oh my god, his face is purple. Wait a second. When Brock Lesnar does a Hurricane Rana. If Omos gets the pin, I will actually be like, oh. They could make Omos look strong, but also have Brock win. With like a roll-up or something, I don't know. It could be booked well if they do it right. Could you imagine Ray versus Omos? How tall is Ray? Like, what's his height? Is he like 4 or 5 or something? He's 5'6"? That's not even that short. Rhea would end Omos. Oh. Oh. Oh! Was not a Wrestlemania match at all. By any means was that a Wrestlemania match. But thank God Brock won. How's everybody? We're doing good. Oh, I didn't... Marshall, are you at your computer? Can you make a message and pin it saying, we are watching WrestleMania, bring your own viewing source, use Peacock or WWE Universe for international or whatever? Just send it in the chat and then pin it. Yeah, I'm not there. I wish I was. I was really close to going to WrestleMania, but I think I'm gonna go next year, which I'm really excited for because hopefully the women's will be booked better, and then also I'll be able to go with a friend, and then also it was very late in the game for me to like consider going. Like I literally thought of going maybe the week before. So I just bought stuff on WWE Network, WWE Shop. I got a Carmella shirt. I got a Alexa Bliss plushie. I low-key got stuff because I thought some of the girls are gonna get released soon, like Mela and Alexa. So I was like, let me stock up on their stuff. And then I got a SmackDown and Raw shirt. Thank you, Marshall. Hello, Medicals. I miss Biggie. I hope he's doing well. Imagine he returns at the Raw after Mania. I would literally cry. I'm eating cake. Oh, wow. Yes, oh my god, Liv! Liv, you better eat. Oh my god, she looks so cute! Oh my god, they're matching too! Oh, that's really cute though. Okay, I'm not a big fan of them together, but this attire is so cute. Oh my god, I love it! They're not on the tank? No! Probably because it would have taken too long to get to the ring. Okay, mothers! Yes! Wait, Natty in the hat? Okay! She's so... Oh my god, her horns are cat ears! Natty! Oh my god, she's so cute! Oh, they look adorable. Shotzi looks fucking hot. Oh, Chelsea, you better eat this gear. I'm surprised they use Sonya's theme and not Chelsea's. The way they didn't even try to match. Chelsea looks amazing. Chelsea! Wait, Sonya? Oh! The reveal, Sonya? Okay. And Sonya wasn't even booked for this originally, and Sonya had this made and done? Okay, they ate, though. They don't look cohesive, but Sonya fucking ate, and Chelsea looks amazing. I wish, like, they had, like, a little bit of, like, I wish Sonya had some lavender on her, and then Chelsea had some gold. All right. Not the pop for Ronda. Girl, be serious. Why they walking like this? Can you be serious? Also, the eyeliner, it's already gonna come off 5 seconds into the match. Like, who is... I can't with Shayna with the smoky eyes and no eyebrow. We need to give Shayna an eyebrow pencil. I can't. It's how turfs walk. Oh! It's strange, though, because I think Shayna is, like, very, like, LGBT positive. Is she not? And Ronda's, like, not. Liv already doing her finisher? Liv and all of them came out. Why is Liv already doing, like, all of her moves? Wait, Natty did do green hair. Guys, I called it! I literally called it last week. I was like, I hope Natty does green in her hair. Yeah, why did Liv already do the code breaker? Liv and Ronda, I mean, not Ronda. Oh, Liv and Raquel, the only ones matching. And they kind of ate, though. I hope they kind of win. Didn't Raquel get the win the other night, though? Oh, yes, Natty! Okay! Why are they just staring? Natty went, get the fuck in! I'm dead. Natty TJAF. Yes, Chelsea. Oh! Raquel said, I DGAF. When Ronda and Raquel go face to face and it's the... They get flashbacks to when they stormed the Capitol. Ronda didn't get the tag, so she's not legal. That she didn't get the tag. Who is legal right now? Who is the competitor? Oh, they're gagging Shayna. Wait. Get her, girls! The way nobody likes them. Get in here, Rhonda. Oh. Chelsea having to, like, move Sonya, like, no shade to Sonya, but, like, Chelsea literally just had to move Sonya to the right spot in the ring. She had to literally drag her. I'm dead. Oh! Oh! That was good, Natty and Shotzi. Loved that spot. That was good. Chelsea looks good. The pink in the hair, I mean the purple. Oh, timeout, timeout, timeout. Chelsea said, wait a second, I'm out of here. I'm dead. Oh. Oh. That was cute, girls. I liked that. That was good. Let's keep the energy going in the crowd. Why is nobody up? Let's get up. I actually really like Shotzi and Natty together. They're a cute team. I'd be with it. Oh, that was good, Shotzi. That was really good. You need that Shotzi gear. Literally, it's so good. I love how, like, Halloween coded it is. Oh, that was good. I'm not a fan of Raquel, but she's doing good. She doesn't have a good history of doing well in the ring. Yes. Oh, good. Yes, Chelsea and Sonya. Chelsea. Ah! Get him, girls. Who lost a necklace? Yeah, Raquel landed bad. That was scary. Oh! Yes! Honestly, Shotzi and Natty should win. Down. They're kind of killing it. Yes! The way the ref was so slow with that pin, that could have been 3. Hold on. She's gonna do the double sharpshooter. She loves this spot. Oh, here she goes. She's doing double sharpshooter. Bitch, she loves this spot. I can't. She does this every pay-per-view she's booked at. Tap, tap, tap. You guys should tap. Ronda and Shayna haven't had a second in this match. Oh, that was good. The way Shayna and Ronda are gonna roll into this match, haven't done anything, and they're gonna get the win. I'm sick to my stomach. Sick! I would respect it more if they were in the fucking match. This is like Royal Rumble when Ronda came out and did fucking nothing and got the win. Oh my god, it makes me so mad. Literally, Liv and Natty are carrying the match. Shotzi's doing really well. Raquel's doing really well. Chelsea and... oh my god, it's literally gonna be Ron... I'm actually getting... I'm getting angry. Like, literally, Ronda and Shayna are gonna steal it. It's making me actually so fucking mad. Of course. What the fuck ever. I swear to God. Somebody get up and help her. I'm so mad. They, like, literally did nothing in that match and won. I'm so bullshit. I'm, like, actually so mad. Like, actually so bullshit. Honestly ruined my night. Like, I can't even enjoy WrestleMania anymore. I'm so mad. Like, if Ronda's injured, take her out of the match and replace her with somebody in the locker room. Candice and Mia Yim could have easily taken the spot, and you could have just crowned Raquel and Liv because Triple H loves Raquel, and I wouldn't have been mad. Like, I understand wanting to book big names for WrestleMania so people come out, but it's WrestleMania, so people are already gonna buy tickets. I literally can guarantee you nobody's buying WrestleMania tickets to see Ronda Rousey. Nobody is buying WrestleMania tickets to be like, oh, I'm gonna be so excited to see Ronda Rousey in a non-title match at WrestleMania in the tag match. Just don't book her. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They literally could have given it to any other team. Why is Bobby here? Night one is like miles better already. Like, this is actually terrible. It gets even worse. Nikki Cross and Tegan Knox are on my screen. Tegan, shouldn't you be home playing Harry Potter since you love that game so much? You fucking turf. Oh. I like that I'm just like so checked out. Like I'm in such a bad mood now. Literally ruined my fucking night. Like I'm sorry guys. I can't recover. Oh, I saw a sexy picture of Marshall. My night's all better already. Why do I have so many Caitlyn Jenner memes in my phone right now? Drew looks sexy. Anyways. Disassociating watching this mania. Take me back to night one. Take me back. Wake up. Wake up. Stay with me. Wake up. Can I get my sushi? I just need comfort food now. Like, I'm so depressed. Oh, it's so... Oh. It says arriving now, but it's nowhere near my house. Oh. I'm getting sushi delivered. If you could put it on my stairs, please. I forgot Seamus has an entourage. I got some California rolls, and then I got, they make French fries there, so I just got French fries. I haven't been eating heavy, like, lately. I'm just eating a lot of French fries, which is enough for me, so. Especially on stream, like, I don't want to do too much. But, like, at this place, the fries are, like... Okay, why does it say arriving now? He's literally nowhere near my house. Yeah, I'm so over it, house. I'm so mad about it. Like, so mad about it. My, like, Asuka... The women's tag match was going so well. Like, so well. So well. And then they came into the ring and took the win. Natty and Shotzi had great chemistry, unique spots. Chelsea and Sonya were working well together and doing the heel gimmick because Ronda is still injured and Shayna's a flop and broke her ankle or some bullshit. Then Liv and Raquel were giving the fashions. They were giving the powerhouse and high flyer. And then we have Ronda and Shayna. If Daddy Gunther doesn't win this match, I'm checked out for the night. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. And then what? Roman's gonna retain later? I can't. My food better fucking get here. I need to fucking eat. I am upsetty spaghetti. This guy's cute. I also see his penis. Oh. Gunther needs this win. He's so hot. Am I alone in this thinking Gunther's hot? Like, he's hot. Like, hot. You guys are gonna make fun of me the way I eat sushi. I'm not good with chopsticks, so please don't make fun of me. Guys, he's hot. Have you seen the pictures of him before? Like his weight loss journey and his fitness journey? So inspiring. Oh, he's homophobic? It's okay. I'm kind of into that sometimes in bed, so I'm not mad. Oh, he passed away? He does not do it for me, but I respect you. I'm kind of into it. Is he actually homophobic? He can't be homophobic when he's got contour on his face. I see pressed powder and contour on his face. I know the gays were doing him up backstage. Some LGBT person backstage did his makeup, so you cannot be anti-LGBT, sir. He's Russian, so you think Lana's homophobic? That's fucked up. How could you say that? No, I think she's actually Russian. She speaks like Russian. He's Austrian. Yeah, I feel like he's like stereotyped that way because of like, do we have actual like, I feel like if he was homophobic, like we would see it all over the TL. Oh my god, he's so fine. This daddy match, like, my pussy is wet. I'm talking about my cat. My cat just jumped into the bathtub and I just happened to see it from 2 stories away in my house. I have x-ray vision. Like, damn. Ooh! What is the Caitlyn Jenner thing? What is the picture of Caitlyn Jenner? My body right, punani tight. No, he doesn't have new gear because he's recycling it because he's not winning. Don't roll the footage back to when Ronda recycled her gear and he didn't. And okay, now I think we're just spreading rumors. Me when I misread information on the internet. Yeah, also, Sheamus has filmed gay porn scenes with me and Gunther was the cameraman. Yep. It's true. It, like, actually ruined my night, how bad I hate how Ronda won that. I thought you were the boom operator. Did somebody say boom? Ronda has a nice gaming career on Facebook Gaming. She can stay there. It's okay. You don't need to be in WWE. See, guys, I'm not a Ronda hater. I would never say anything terrible about Ronda Rousey. Like, she's a great wrestler and deserved that win tonight. I would never say anything against that woman. Like, just support everybody in the company. Like, just everybody is very nice and deserves their terrible WrestleMania wins with bad eyeliner and wearing a stinky karate uniform that probably hasn't been washed since she appeared at the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view last year. That's what Ronda probably did in that. Hi, Ava. Happy to see you. Gunther, you need to win. I love you. Guys, Gunther's hot. Aside from the Ronda love, I love your makeup today. Thank you. My makeup is provided by Lily Teal. Lily sent me a lot of the makeup products she wasn't using to support a very early trans girl in her transition to give me makeup to try new things and have fun with. So we loved Lily here. Follow Lily on social media at Lily Teal. I thought I would spice it up today with a different color eye. These chops? Oh my god. Now turn around and spank each other. Sorry. What was the inspiration for today? Sasha Colby's barbed wire look for Pamela Anderson was like, that's why I did this hair. I wanted to look like just got fucked hair. It's not exactly accurate, but I just wanted my hair to be messy. And then wear all black because Sasha Colby looked so hot on the latest episode of Drag Race. But I also wanted to look like I just got off my daddy's motorcycle. I almost said almost rode my daddy. Yeah. Good one. I love when a man wears white trunks and like white knee pads or white socks. Makes him look like a slutty bottom. I can't believe Seth wore that pink harness the other day. That was so hot. Also, if you think I sexualize everything, can you like actually go outside and go to a club? Like, please. This is just drag, honey. Also, these men are literally fighting in Speedos. Like, how can I not be like, they're hot? Get serious. Sheamus' chest is cut up. Poor Gunther. Michael Cole's having fun. My heart. He's so cute. Look, Michael Cole's like standing up. He's excited. Oh! He's so cute. There are entire accounts dedicated to hot women in WWE by straight men. Keep that energy for everyone. Literally. Like, come on. Be real. Keep going. Oh my god! Sheamus, stop! Please stop! He's already dead! He's already dead! Oh my god, the standing ovation for Sheamus. Stop, I'm gonna start crying. Sheamus deserves, actually. I don't think Sheamus will win, but I'm glad he's getting a good showing. Giving Diva with the big boot, you better. $29 chops. Also, the whole... Okay, can we go back to the Gunther being homophobic thing? Ginny loves the gays. Ginny's his wife. I know you can't, like, completely change a man for his views, but I feel like Ginny would not allow her husband to be homophobic or transphobic or anything. She'd be like, excuse me now, hold on. Hold on. She'd clock him. She'd put him together. I love the navy blue. That's gonna be my new color. Like, last year was baby blue. I think this year is navy blue. Something about navy blue is so elegant. And, like, expensive. They were the starter matches. Have we only had the two with Omos and... Yeah, it was those two. So I think it just gets better from here. But, like, still mad about the Ronda thing. Very mad about it. Yes, Drew. Wow. That was good. The boys are making Gunther look really good if he's gonna win and retain. That's really good. Ooh! This is a really good match for Gunther to retain. I really hope he retains. I want to wrestle so bad. I'm gonna start traveling to wrestle, I think. Start training. Oh god, I'm scared. This looks really bad. Oh my god, 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 oh my god. Finest WWE wrestler right now? Of all time? Oh, I don't know. It's a tie between... Wow. Best match so far, obviously. One of the better matches of Mania in general. Very good job, gentlemen. Finest of all time. It's Miz is up there. Finn Balor's up there too. I forgot to put Finn on this daddy list. Asuka and Bianca are next. Thank God my food's like here. Oh, this triple submission right now? Oh, they getting crazy upstairs. Oh, Dolph, yeah. I love Dolph. Even though he was kind of weird to Nikki Bella. Oh my god, look at the standing ovation for Sheamus. I got chills. Wow, Sheamus deserves it. Oh, wow. Oh, I got chills. Stares. Looks at my oomph. Hey. Not the snot out of Sheamus's nose. Can we please get a rag? Guys, this isn't awesome. This is what WrestleMania matches should be, and the matches before this one were not booked well. Has he ever done that? I've never seen McIntyre do that. Sugar honey iced tea. Yes! Girl. Oh, they're taking it. We can book this match well, but not Liv Morgan and Raquel and Shotzi and Natty and the other couple people, Chelsea and Sonia, and then the other two that I won't say, like, because they're kind of like Voldemort. I don't want to say their name. Oh! I'm gonna need Shayna after WrestleMania to start using an eyebrow pencil and stop doing the smoky eyes with no brow look. It's getting tired. She's literally had no eyebrows for like 5 years now. I need it to stop. Oh, this is good, girl. Wow. Gunther's taking a nap, girl. Yeah, this match is really good. Everyone at SoFi? I don't know about everybody. Oh, they're not. The people in the front row, not on their feet. It's gonna be it. This is gonna be the end right here. Gunther's gonna do something. They love to do a Tower of Doom spot. They're so tired. I feel so bad. What the? Oh! That's it. That's it. Nice. Let's go, Daddy Gunther! Let's go! Amazing match. Really happy for him. Deserved. Deserved. Really well done. Really props to Drew and Sheamus for making Gunther look amazing. You deserve it. Hey! You deserve it. Hey! Okay, I'm gonna go run, get my food really fast. I almost just fell. I want Asuka to have a WrestleMania moment, but I also don't want Bianca to lose her WrestleMania streak. I mean, they're beefy buff men. They're fine. That's just like slapping their asses in whatever sport that is. Oh, Carmella. Lacey Evans doing the charity work is so weird because she's like the heel. Yes, Natty Mother. I got sushi, which I'm very excited for. This better be a good fucking show. I swear to God, if they literally cut them for time or don't book this well, I'm gonna be so fucking bullshit. I know, I feel bad for Mela. Not it being like, we're gonna show you how these two met in their battle for WrestleMania, and then an ad hits. Okay. Hi, Seasick. It's giving Ariani. Thank you. I love the sushi place I get this shit from. Oh, how cute is this? It's like a little bin. How cute. So cute. Bianca better tear the roof off this place. I'm honestly Team Bianca. I love Asuka, but I'm Team Bianca. I want her to be undefeated, killer, and then I want someone to challenge her for the title on Raw. Call up. I love a good California roll. That's what we're chowing down on right now. Yeah, I was thinking if she loses the title, she'll probably go heel this year at some point. Like, she'll probably disappear and then come back and... My hair getting in the food? Okay. Here we go. Oh my god, Asuka has people in the masks! Cute. Really cute. Yes! Oh my god, the mask she has, period. I love the blue mask. Oh, and it's gold for WrestleMania! Queen. Come on, baby. She has a new gear! Yes! I was worried she wouldn't. Of course they roll ads during Asuka's entrance. Of course they would. Why wouldn't they roll ads during the women's matches? Looks like she got her hair colored too. She looks so good. I won't be mad whoever wins, honestly. Nope. No matter the outcome, I'm happy. Oh! The, like, little girl dancer cheerleaders. Oh. Oh my god, all of them are POC too. My heart. Yes! Hey, 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 hey. All of them with braids in the bow. Yes, do the split, baby. Choreo. Oh my god, full choreo number. You better. Oh my god, this little girl doing all these stunts? Oh my god, she's doing the hair with Bianca behind her. Oh my god, how cute! Ah! Oh my gosh! So cute. The jacket looks fierce. She made it. Bianca makes all of her gear. I'm Team Bianca, but I'm happy for Asuka. Bianca and the Hollywood star. She has a Hollywood Walk of Fame star on her chest with her name on it. She's amazing. That's such a cute detail. Bianca looks amazing. Yes, Bianca. Let's go. Same house music. Okay. You got it. They're doing good. Literally, her face when she wrestles doesn't move. Like, amazing. Hi, baby. How you doing? Like, it's always like, it doesn't smudge. She must use Got to Be to set her face. I think you would look good in a beat like that. Like the gorgeous, like the claw marks and the eye. I think you would eat like an Asuka look or inspired by. Oh, that was good. Exactly, exactly. You know I like a bronzy look with a little bit of glitter. Not the Oscar lock. No. Oscar looks great. I love the gear. It's her gear, but like rhinestoned and studded. I'm glad she got a new gear. I was worried she wasn't going to come out in a new gear. I was actually worried. Oh! Oh! That was a good, like, little... Oh! Amazing. I like that they had the women's ref for both of the women's matches. I can. She's Asuka. What are you talking about, Corey Graves? I can't believe Asuka's still in this match. I literally can't. She's Asuka. She had the longest reigning NXT. Like, be serious. I wanted to pop a little more. I'm gonna need to see some more spots. It's good. It's good. I wonder when Asuka's gonna do the mist. Maybe Bianca will do the hair whip. Yes, Glam Slam. Oh, reversal. Oh, oh! Submission specialist. Like, Asuka always knows how to, like, reverse something into a submission. It's honestly so fierce. Oh! Nice. That was a good little... Yeah, thankfully Jerry is not in the area of the... Why did they just pan out? Like, can we watch the match? So stupid. Like, what was the point in even being like, let's pan the camera out? Nice. I'm gonna need like this match to blow the roof off the place after Rhea and Charlotte yesterday. Like, I need a strong finish. They have a strong start right now. I would say it's like we need just a I thought it was really good. I thought the start was a little slow, but they definitely picked it up. I wanted Charlotte to retain, but you could tell she was proud to pass the torch to Rhea. Like, she was really proud. Oh, it's giving Royal Rumble tease on the ropes. Asuka here. I heard Asuka say, catch it. Like, catch her leg. I can't. Cut the mics! Why do they have mics? How is Asuka's makeup not smudged? What is she using? And the other girls need that. Like, Rhea's makeup was gone 3 minutes into the match yesterday. Like, Asuka's stamped! A girl is beat! Oh god, I'm scared. It literally has to be got to be that she uses to set that face. I'm so serious. Got to be will not move your mug. I've been there. Been there. Oh! Oh my god. That scared me. Oh my god, that was literally so scary. My heart is still racing. I thought Asuka was gonna land on her neck. Can we get them to clap? Like, crowd, get into it. Oh wait, the crowd is clapping. I started that. I started that. That was me. I'm actually live streaming from the arena. I'm on commentary with Corey Graves and Michael Cole. Hi, Michael Cole. Hi, Corey. Hi, Corey. You said hi, Corey, twice. I like Corey. Oh my god, great. That was a great... I hate when they do this. It makes me nervous that they're gonna like mess up and actually do a 3 count. I hate when they do the roll-ups. Hi, Vainadas. Could you imagine if Asuka just won with a big boot? Camp. Her mug is still on, bitch! Nothing is smudged! How? The yell. Ah! Bianca giving Melina tease with Scream Queen. Let's go, Asuka. EST. Oh! Oh! That was beautiful! Yes! That was good. Yes! Come on, girls! They're killing it. I see some of the white face paint on Bianca. Okay, now her mug is starting to come off, but it's okay. It was on for a solid 15 minutes. I'm gonna need Bianca to do a 450 splash. I'll gag. She hasn't done that in a hot minute. When Asuka does a Hurricane Rana, I'll gag. Oh! 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 Oh, not the hair! Oh! Yes! Oh my god. Oh, these girls! Come on, girls! Yes! They have some great spots so far. I haven't eaten any of my sushi. I'm so mad about it. But I'm into this match! I'm ready! I'm in it! What game are you playing later? Not sure. Probably a fighting game. Jesus. That glam slam was fierce. Get up! Oh, Asuka's getting the mist. Oh, Bianca's getting the mist. I mean, Asuka's getting the mist. Asuka has the mist in her mouth. Asuka has the mist in her mouth. Asuka has the mist in her mouth. She missed the mist! Oh! 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 You deserve it! You deserve it! Wow. That was a great match. That, like, interaction between, like, the KOD, the Mist, the Oskalak, and then... Oh my god, that was scary! I literally thought Asuka was gonna win, girl. Take notice, Asuka's face is still stamped. Great job, girls. Great job. They should be proud. That was a good match. So we're definitely going to get some returns or call-ups at the Raw after Mania. Because now who's going to be the valid challenger? I think if they do a draft, Liv could definitely go after Bianca. And it could be a good feud. But also, we want Rhea versus Liv. Oh, she did 3-0. I'm so glad she's keeping her streak. I thought that was Matt Riddle. I was like, get the cameras off him. Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't. What's gonna happen? Oh! How did I literally predicted this. Marshall, I don't think you understand. I was gonna say, remember that message I sent you that was like, what the surprises are gonna be versus what we got? I was literally gonna type, Shane McMahon is gonna return. I fucking knew it. I literally knew it. I'm literally a psychic. They've had a long feud, Miz and Shane. I'm surprised. He has a very interesting history with WWE. Shane shouldn't return. We need another S name to return. Sasha Banks. Excuse me. Steph McMahon. See, this I can get behind because Shane actually has history in WWE. The other match, I was like, what the? The way Kevin used to get so mad at Shane. Oh! The way he actually hurt himself. Is this actually... Is this scripted? I don't think Shane was supposed to get hurt. I love Snoop so much. I'm dead. I honestly think Shane actually got hurt. I think that was literally improv on Snoop's part. Because why would they have Shane return and then do that? There's no way that was how it was supposed to be booked. Also, that's 2 for 2 for McMahon's having a WrestleMania moment and botching. When Vince did it last year and had a terrible botch, then Shane just did it. Someone said that he threw up the X. The ref threw up the X, and Miz and Snoop were talking outside the ring, so Shane actually did get hurt. I read. I add. A McMahon blowing their leg out within seconds of the match. No, literally, I was like, that's very interesting, isn't it? so many ads. Can we get to the fighting? Edge getting a sexy entrance. Okay. I want to lean back in my chair. It's an okay show. I think night one was better. Talo Sessi. Oh, wow. Is that him? What the hell? Edge looks... What the... It's giving... Shut up. It's giving the thing from... Scooby-Doo. Full Scooby-Doo moment. I'm here to tell you that I am living for Edge. He's giving. Okay, drags. Wow, 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 wow. Into me. I actually love Edge with the short hair. That is literally Scooby-Doo down. A chance to feel, a chance to feel. Thank you, Joss. 44 months longest subscriber. We have Demon Finn Balor. He's not oh, he's purple and red. Work. This is my daddy, like probably my all-time fave. He's getting his old theme. Yes. Yeah. I miss this theme song so bad. Please bring it back. He's wearing shorts too. That arch? I'm pregnant. I think he's wearing trunks too. He's gonna take the skirt off and we got trunks. He did this for us. He did this for the gays. Yeah! Oh my god, I miss when he would do this. Oh, the smoke! Wow. One of the best entrances so far, I'd say. He looks incredible. This night has gone by so fast. Probably because the booking isn't right. Oh! He's in trunks. I'm so happy he's in trunks. I am a word that rhymes with bet and starts with a W and has ET in it. And I need to change because there is a moisture in my panties. I am oh. When his balls slip out again. We won! Let's have a bra and panties match, but like a men take your clothes off match. Cock out match. Who can whip their dick out first match? Girl, if Euphoria can do it, WWE can do it, just get a prosthetic penis. Like it's an object in the ring. Like it's a steel chair. Get a steel penis prosthetic. Yeah, girl, there's a warning on my stream. Y'all can't be mad. Also, like, hello, we're watching wrestling. Come on. Let's, like, get unserious for a second. Not everything has to be serious. Okay, after this, can Edge rest? Like, I'm so tired of the Edge Judgment Day storyline. Oh my god, he's so fine. You should see, look up Finn Balor trunks. Like, look at his old pictures. His old entrance would literally be like, I don't want to say queer bait, but like he would like thrust his like penis towards the outside of the ring and you could see his bulge. Like he was doing it for the girls and the gays. He also was full, like he loves supporting the queer community. He used to have, his gimmick used to be like, everyone is Balor Club, like gay rights, like he's an ally. He also has videos on the internet of him doing amateur videos, but that's besides the point and none of my business. You look great. Thank you, Red. He had the same videos that Becky and Seth had back in the day. Like doing the risque, not safe for work videos of the wrestling stuff. Yeah, Finn's one of my favorite current active wrestlers. He also was really good in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like, he's iconic. Finn looks great. S-N-M-M-M-M. Yo, Finn Balor, are you gonna be at the NXT Massachusetts pay-per-view? Because if you're gonna be there, can I do your demon makeup? Book me. Like, do you need help? Do you need help taking it off? Do you need someone to help you take off the makeup? I can do that too. I can be a loofah. Oh, I thought Finn was under the table. This match is gonna be an hour. We're gonna go to 11 and then the main event's gonna be 11 to 12. No, I would love to meet him IRL. WWE is pretty stingy with their meet and greets. They don't do a lot of active roster meet and greets often. Like when I was at Royal Rumble, there was Liv, Bianca, and Charlotte. And that was it for meet and greets. But I would love to meet him one day. If he's at Mania next year and has a meet and greet, I would definitely go. I mean, I hope he is. He deserves to be on the card always. Not the face paint already coming off on the back. They need to use alcohol paints. I feel like they don't use alcohol paint. Alcohol paint doesn't smudge. I feel like they use water activated paint. I would know because I'm a certified makeup artist. I went to school in New York City. Ooh, pulling up his trunks. Do it again. Oh, the arch. Did you guys see the arch? Oh. Oh. I think it's kind of cool with Finn because that's like his gimmick, like the gritty demon. I don't think it works for anyone else. Also, the attire is like, it's supposed to look. Oh my god, the table fell hard on Edge. Wow, Jesus Christ. I don't know. I'm always confused by that. Like when they use props and stuff, how does it actually not hurt? I mean, it definitely has to, but. Oh my god, he got busted open. Like, he got hit. He's bleeding. Well, it's a Hell in a Cell match, so like, what do you want? I'd love to see them get on top of the cell. They haven't done that in a while. Is that blood all over the mat? That's a lot of blood. Oh, that's a lot of blood. Is he okay? Like, that's actually a lot of blood. No, it's blood. You can tell. Can we see the match? I hate when they do the pan shot. I would say this is fake, but like the medical hasn't done anything to like make it seem gimmicky. The ref, yeah, the ref's doing gloves. I can't tell if it's fake blood or not. Maddie, I think you're the one that needs to wake up, honey. The cage is still open. I feel like that's the reverse. The cage would be shut if it wasn't fake. Oh. I'm nervous. I'm nervous for Finn. I don't want him to be out. Yeah, but why would Judgment Day interfere? The whole thing about this is like the buildup of like ending it. I guess because Edge can put them all away. Ah! That was really fucking close, dude. Everybody's mad Bianca won, damn. I'm fine with it. I mean, I feel like everybody should have known that Triple H was gonna have Bianca win, because like Bianca's one of his rising stars. Asuka's already like a built up star, even with the loss, I feel. The table already bending. You better put him through that table, because that table is delicate. It's gonna break by just touching it. Oh! Oh my god, I was so worried that he was gonna hurt his ankles. I'm glad he fucking landed that, because that could be bad. Oh! Great match so far. Amazing match. Hold on, can we roll it back? I don't think Why did everybody turn on Bianca so fast? I thought it was an okay match. It definitely wasn't the best, but like not too much on Mother. Self-care king. Yeah, I mean, definitely possible, but the blood all over Edge's face. Honestly, I feel like Asuka literally was like, I want to be the one to put Bianca over. Like we gave Charlotte her roses for putting Rhea over, but I feel like Asuka's like, I want to put Bianca over. I'm really powerful. Like, Asuka's, like, literally mother. She has kids. Like, she's a mother. Like, she definitely was, like... I think a win would have been good, but also, like, that would mean that Raw would, like, reset. Like, I don't think Raw is ready for a reset right now for champs. Yeah, literally, I can't believe Shane returned and got injured that fast. That's actually insane. So what? We only have one match left? You mean Sasha and Naomi are returning and challenging Ronda and Shayna to a match right now? Me and my delusional era. What's happening here? Not someone clocking me. Why are you tweeting this with a straight face on stream? I have a good poker face, I guess. Oh, this is cute. I thought they were gonna have a moment of someone returning right there and knocking Bianca out. I want to see Bad Bunny in trunks at this Puerto Rico pay-per-view. Am I going to Puerto Rico? Yeah, I'm going. I could. Can I meet Bad Bunny? Can I be one of his like girls to walk with him to the ring? That's what everybody's saying. I would love that. Zelina versus Ripley. Oh, I thought Corey was wearing chains. That's a gold trim on his tux. I thought that was chains. Can you tell I don't wear my glasses? Mother Stacy. Deserved. Tori almost crying at Stacy being inducted made me almost cry. I was like, that woman doesn't age. Stacy looks amazing. Oh. I was like, you better not say anything on Stacy, Mr. Jerry Lawler, because you used to objectify her at every waking moment and degrade women. So let's not forget that. It's okay when I do it, but not you. I can objectify the men because they've been harassing trans women for decades. Oh, this video package is someone getting... Bobby Lashley's likes on Twitter are him liking tweets of people saying he was done dirty. I feel so bad. That makes me really sad. I hope Bobby's okay. I hope he knows he's loved by the fans. Oh, is Stacy here? Oh, give it to me, Stacy. You better be in a gorgeous outfit. Ah! Oh my god! She's like actually the inspiration. Like, no bullshit. Like, she is trans awakening, blonde bombshell awakening. I love Ray. He's so dapper. I like this new mask, like, shape he's debuting. I love it. Please. He's not even that he's not even a little guy. He's just like short compared to like everybody in the industry, which is so insane. The Adidas tuxedo? Oh my god! If you want to get with me, you need an Adidas tuxedo like that. That made my pussy wet, 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 wet. Wet, 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 wet. Oh my god. That suit! No, that tux is drippy. Love that tux. I know, when John and Randy get put into the Hall of Fame and like Eve Torres and Kelly, girl, oh, I'll be done for. I'll be like, oh, not me getting wrinkles. When Mickie James or Melina go Hall of Fame, when Natty gets into the Hall of Fame, oh, it's over. I'm excited for when Natty gets Hall of Fame. She literally deserves it. I don't care what any of y'all say. She has been wrestling for so long, put in the work, made all the girls look good. She deserves it. I will actually cry when Natty goes Hall of Fame. Alicia, yes. I think the order of Hall of Fame, I would say 2 women next year, and then they're probably going to go back to 1 because they're so backwards and not progressive. But next year, I think it'll be Mickie James and Victoria. And then the year after that, I think they'll do Melina. No, they'll do Michelle after that. And then Melina after that. And then, ooh, Lillian would be a good pick. Ooh, Jazz isn't in Hall of Fame? Wait, you lie. I thought she was. What? That's so messed up. Why isn't Jazz in Hall of Fame? Okay, she deserves it then before anybody else. I have to pee, and Roman's gonna take like 10 hours to get to the ring, so... Chyna does need solo Hall of Fame induction. It's crazy that she hasn't, but now that Triple H is into charge, it's probably never gonna happen because he's a shithead. Yeah, Michelle needs to get in there. They should... Wait, it's Blake's last season of The Voice? Thank fucking God that guy needs to retire if we're talking about people that need to retire. Literally no one ever wants to be on his team except for the disgusting people. Okay, there's a lot of stuff happening. I have a fortune cookie. Let's see if it'll say anything nice about me. I have to pee so fucking bad. Can this just fucking open so I can get the fortune cookie, throw this away, and then go to the bathroom? Thank you. Okay, I'll be right back. You deserve it. Hey! You deserve it. Hey! Guys, look at my tattoo. I'm just trying to clean my desk. It's messy. Messy boots. The amount of ads they're doing because literally they didn't expect Shane McMahon to break his fucking leg. So now we just have a bunch of fucking ad breaks. Wow, lovely fortune cookie. A thing of great beauty will bring you great joy. Oh, are they talking about me? Lucky numbers 18, 48, 6, 22, 32, 42. Oh. Oh, 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 oh. All right, girl, it's happening. This main event. I mean, if Cody doesn't win, the internet is going to be broken up. If Cody doesn't win, I'm logging off Twitter for the night, girl. It is going to be a shitstorm. How am I already out of salt? I don't use that much. I say as salt coats my desk. Do you guys want edibles? Am I allowed to show this? I mean, they're just gummies. They're not. The way Cody entered at 30, they should have made him enter at like 15 or something. That was kind of insane. There's no way Cody isn't winning. I'll be gagged. Who do you want to win? Cody, just because, like, I would like to see something different in the company. But, I honestly don't really care, but it's okay. I think it's pretty obvious Roman is losing, but... And also because some people have said that the network wants a full-time champion and Roman doesn't want to do that right now. So... Favorite match of both nights. I'm not going to count this one with Roman and Cody as much as I love them because I'm not here to watch the men's. I would say out of the 4 women's matches we had, if I had to rank them, I would rank them Charlotte versus Rhea as tops, Trish and Lita, and Damage Control and Becky second. Bianca versus Asuka, and then the tag with all the 4 women. Favorite match of all the nights, though? I definitely would have to say, I actually really think... Oh. Sorry. If you subscribe, you won't get ads. You can use your Twitch Prime, but that doesn't cost any money if you have Amazon Prime. Out of the 4 women's matches, I would say Rhea and Charlotte, then the tag match with Damage Control and Trish and Lita and Becky. Then after that, I would say Bianca versus Asuka, and then the tag match of all the 4 women. Which I think the tag match with all the 4 women could have been booked better if they didn't book Ronda and Shayna to win, or even have them at all in the match. I think if Mia and Candice were in, it would have been a banger, and they booked it longer. Can we get a time check on how long the men's tag match was opposed to the women's tag match? Cody looks expensive. Cody looks expensive. I think my favorite match of the entire nights was Dom versus Ray. I must say, and I'm not a fan of men's wrestling, but I just loved the build-up and the story and then the execution of the match with Bad Bunny helping with the win. And it was a clean win. I think second place is probably Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew. Tied at second was Charlotte and Rhea. Maybe Sandra still does his jackets. She doesn't have to just do stuff at AEW. Is that his daughter? That is so cute. Look, his daughter loves him! She's like, Dad, don't go, I miss you. Deserved. He deserves, actually, like, his story over the years. It's crazy. He went from like jobbing, he went from the ridiculous character, and now he's here main eventing Mania, one Royal Rumble, one of the strongest in the company when he was just treated as a joke before. He deserves. He definitely deserves. June, thank you so much for your Prime sub. Oh, he's winning. Look, he's about to get emotional. He's winning down. I need to make the "you deserve it" a sound command. You deserve it. Hey! The piano for Roman? The 5 pianos? Jeez. Oh yeah, he's fully taking... Let's start the timer. Let's see how long he takes. I started it maybe a second late, a couple seconds late, so I'll add like 5 seconds to the timer. Let's see how long it takes for Roman to get to the ring. It was the second match on the card, Wrestling Fan. Ronda and Shayna won by doing absolutely nothing. It was maybe a 10-minute match. That was beautiful. Yeah, Ronda needs to kick it. She needs to just play her video games and stay out of the scene. She just has no desire to do anything to train or get better. And I'm not even like hating on her because I hate her, but like it's just like literally reality. Wait, are me, Latrell, and DS from Ring the Bell streaming at the same time? Someone tagged me in that earlier. Is DS streaming from Mania? Can anyone clock that? What's he doing? I love them both so much. Everybody go stream Diva Daddy's stream, follow, support, and support Ring the Bell and DS. Some more queer wrestling creators if you like the LGBTs in wrestling. I'm surprised Solo's out here. I know. I'm hoping next year me and DS can do stuff together. We were planning on doing stuff this year together. Like, we were going to get a hotel room together and bring the girls there to both of us do interviews at the same time. So, like, we would have the audio be good and then, like, not be busy because we would be staying at the same hotel the event was at. But I couldn't make it out to the event. But I hope he had a great time and did everything that he wanted to do. I know he streams. I don't know what he streams to, though. He did a WWE 2K23 stream. But it was, I think, from his PS4. PS5. I got him a key to play. I got him. Anybody that says I'm not a community gal, please. I got, what's the status? I got what's the status, a code to play the game and make content for y'all. Free. I got Latrell a copy. Diva Daddy. I got DS a copy. I got both my podcast partners a copy. I got Marshall a copy. I got who else? Oh, I got Lee Valentine a copy. She's making the great Eva Marie cause. Who else did I get a copy? I was handing out keys like it was hotcakes. I was like, I want everybody to make content. I want everybody to be ready, making the best content. So I gave all the keys I could to the other queer creators in our community. Also, Onyx got a PS5, Stan. Onyx's first console. I was like, work? You got a PS5 before I got one, baby. He is at 4 minutes. Not too much on Daddy Roman. Listen, I'm not a stan, but I think he's definitely made a great legacy as a champion. He's also hot, so like he's really hot. Like he's definitely gonna be a Hall of Famer one day. I think he's done a great job as champ. Oh, they mentioned Cesaro on commentary. Thank you for giving him this props. I miss Cesaro. He was actually my daddy. Oh, he looks mad. He said, I'm losing my title tonight? This is ridiculous. He's so fine. The fade with the long hair in the back. When he ties it back with the fade. Ooh, my princess parts. I'm such a sucker for a fade. Anytime a guy has a fade, I'm like, ooh! Oh, they got this bitch on the mic. I love her. Is her name Samantha? She's everything. I love Samantha. I gotta put her in the podcast. We gotta do an honorable mention about her. When Eva Marie did the ring announcing, she ate. Wow. Samantha, you better eat this mic. You better chew. She's such a good ring announcer. They need to use her more. Wow, Samantha. Chills. Give Samantha her roses. It took him about 8 minutes to get to the ring. Wait, Samantha is Ricochet's partner, right? I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Wow. Yeah, I saw they got engaged. The mic? You want to talk your shit, Roman? Ooh, the little tongue. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Giggles. Ooh, the tongue. Him throwing the mic? I'm gonna be glued to the screen for this match. Putting the phone down, I'm watching this to the T. This is the most anticipated match. This is going to be history making. This is going to defy the course of the year going forward. Let's go, boys. Put on a show. Avengers Endgame type shit. Infinity War Endgame. Cody's body looks right. Punani tight. Body right. The Caitlyn Jenner picture. Not the TurboTax ad. Can you be serious? $945 day. I mean, it could go either way. Do they want Roman to get 1,000 or do they want Cody to end it? You know, they just kept Bianca's streak alive because she hit 1 year. Like, he did. He's gotten over with the crowd over the last couple years because he used to get shit on. But now I think they actually acknowledge him. Like, no joke, but they do see he's a great champion. Listen, if Roman goes away, Paul Heyman... Not Paul Heyman's kind of daddy. Hold on. Not too much. Wait. Not so fast. Paul Heyman needs to go chaperone Ronda after this and make Ronda look good. If Roman's gonna go away. Ronda better not say a peep on the mic. Nothing is saving Rhonda. Yeah, I'm trying to pick up the scraps, but you know. It's very hard. Honestly, yeah, let's be real. Rhonda winning that really ruined my night. I don't think I'll recover. I was in such a good mood and it took me like 3 hours to recover. I'm still not over it. The cows again, I get it. I support you in that journey. Wow, beautiful drop kick from Cody. Whoa. Ooh. Is that scar on his arm from the surgery on his pec? That's a huge fucking scar. Yeah, the way Roman didn't even wear white. I wish he would have worn white to match the Usos. The way he looked at the camera with the sexy eyes. Oh my god. Wait a second. Did you guys see that? This match is gonna be so long, you guys. We're gonna be our hot minute. It's probably gonna go till 12. Wow. Wow. Ooh. What is the ramp made out of? I'd gag if Nia returns. Shut up. That'd be so good. Everyone remember to use hashtag undisputed title when you're tweeting on the hashtag Twitter. Girl, the cameraman. Solo, can you stop blocking the cameraman? I hope the Iconics return tomorrow. I hope we... Oh! Why did the ref not see that? Guys, Candice LeRae got cleared in 6 weeks after her pregnancy. Peyton had her baby, like, the same amount of time. Peyton said she wants to come back to wrestling. She's ready. She said it herself. The excuse that she just had a baby is so tired. Yeah, both of the Iconics are also in LA. They haven't done anything for WrestleCon. They haven't done anything. I don't know. It could definitely really happen. I mean, they could be trolling, but I'm just kind of exhausted with the excuse that she had a baby when multiple people have like returned after having a kid. Becky returned pretty quick. Candice returned pretty quick. Summer Rae. So is Kelly Kelly. Kelly Kelly's pregnant. When Kelly Kelly marches to the ring tomorrow and challenges Bianca for the title, and Bianca can't say no and can't hit Kelly because she's pregnant, and Kelly pins Bianca in 3 seconds and wins the Raw Championship, book it. Kelly went to Mania yesterday with her baby. When Kelly comes to the ring with her baby and wins the tag titles. When they introduce a triple tag team women's title like they do in all different wrestling promotions, and Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, and Peyton's baby win the triple tag team titles, we won! Not too much now, Maddie. Why is he not sent Solo to be banished from ringside? Your mom. What if Summer Rae actually returns tomorrow and I predicted that too? Oh. Both tables? Okay, like, what are all of these wires on the announcer tables? Because they always get, like, destroyed and messed up. Like, what are those wires doing? Are they just, like, for funsies? Because I feel like that would be an electrical issue and could be very dangerous, but they always get, like, messed up. When the table breaks with the weight on it. Remember when that happened once? Roman Roans. Oof. Cole apparently lost his voice last night. But he's still announcing. Like, that's... Or today when Shane McMahon came to the ring and broke his ankles from just running. The Scoop Slam homage to Randy when they were in the... What were they called? What was the thing called with Randy? What's his name? Ted DiBiase and Cody? Oh, Roman's bleeding. Legacy. Thank you, Nate. Wait, what if Cody actually does an RKO as like an homage to Randy? Wait, can he actually? Wait, book it, please. And then randomly Randy comes out to congratulate him. Wait, book it. Wait, book it. Thank you so much for your Prime sub, MMM. Oh, Jesus. Oof. I mean, John definitely wanted to put Austin over, which I'm not mad at. I like when the old superstars put the new ones over. Like, it makes me happy. When it's done right. Why did you steal it from the kid? Ban him. Paul Heyman's like, The ref, he said, what was that? The look on the ref's face, he said, you know what was that? Ref? Ref, do you see that? Hey, ref? Hey, ref? When Roman attacks this man, oh! Oh, wow. That scar where he got the surgery on his pec, Jesus. Huge. The big boot giving homage to the divas. Cody loves the divas era. He learned that from Michelle and Kelly, even though Kelly never did a big boot, but, you know, he was watching the matches. Paul Heyman's gotta do something crazy during this match. And the Usos have to come in somehow. The Usos are definitely gonna do something crazy. It's kind of iconic that Cody bleaches his hair. You better work. You better work, gay during a mental breakdown, bleaching hair moment. Love that for you. Cody, you can't do that again. That's crazy. Oh. 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 Jesus Christ. Yeah, actually, Roman Reigns' ender will be Naomi. Naomi's gonna return and be like, you were mean to my husband, and pin him for the undisputed world titles. Book it! Sorry, Trinity Star. When she comes back to WWE under a new name, that would be so bizarre. I'm sweating. This puffer jacket's making me sweat. There's no way Cody's not winning. Like, come on, be serious. Oh my god, a pedigree. Damn. I don't know what Cody's got left in the tank. I don't know his moveset. I wish this was Tiffany and Indy. Real. What's the next NXT pay-per-view? It's the one in Massachusetts. When Tiffany wins at that and I'm there to greet her backstage and interview her, what then? Oh my god, that was a nasty punch! Hello, Maddie. I like wrestling. I think that's a lie. Maddie, you're lying here. Please do not lie. Ugh, I don't want Roman to like leave because I love Paul Heyman. Like, Paul Heyman is such a good, like... Could you imagine he won with a roll-up? The internet would blow up. Oh my god. Yes, figure 4. Homage to Charlotte. Homage to the women. The way the ref started counting a pin, can you get serious? Me when I lay on the mat and somebody like puts their pinky on me and the ref starts counting it as a pin. 1, 2. Stop panning! I want to watch the match. Stop with the pan shots. I don't give a shit who's in the arena. Oh, Dusty never won the world titles? Oh, Cody's winning down. RuPaul could be in the arena and I wouldn't care. RuPaul could be anywhere and I wouldn't care. Oh, shit. I woke up in a new Bugatti. Oh! I almost got a splinter. When RuPaul debuts in WWE, what then? The Raw after Mania when RuPaul debuts. I can't do a fan open. You could quite literally just... Not RuPaul versus Nikki Cross for the catering brawl backstage, because no one DGAF. RuPaul versus Nikki Cross for who gets to use the bathroom first in catering match. Oh my god, we won! No, girl, she wanted the Nikki ASH character. She pitched it. That's her own fault. RuPaul versus Mother. I would pay for that. I'm dead ass. Did you know Melina, like Melina, the 5-time women's champion, she does like a lot of like queer wrestling leagues. She does a lot of New York shows with like drag queen wrestlers. Love her. She was at DragCon one year. Who's wearing a ring? Wait, who has the tattooed ring? That's cute. Cody's on his knees. Cody's on his knees. Tracer behind. Tracer behind. Genji on me. Genji on me. What is happening? This is very fruity. This is definitely fruity. Okay, not to clock a spray tan, but Cody, I see the spray tan from the back row. The front of his body is a lot more tanner than the other side. This picture? Wait, the ref got knocked out? Oh, Jesus Christ. They love that spot. Almost as much as the Tower of Doom. They've been doing the ref getting knocked out so much lately. Like, stop. Like, a lot lately. Oh, the Usos are coming out down. When special guest referee Stacy Keibler walks to the ring in her heels and the secretary skirt. Yeah. Why didn't the ref get knocked out when Ronda was around earlier? I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! So, when the next ref comes out, is he not like, okay, this is a DQ? The yellow shoe on Kevin? Oh, wow. I'm kind of getting chills. Yes, Sammy. So where's the next ref? Special guest referee Paul Heyman takes off his shirt. And then he's like, actually, I've been the ref this whole time. Whoosh! Girl. Girl. There's no way. Roman's kicking. Roman's kicking. I knew it! I knew it! I knew it wouldn't end like that. I knew it. The like stream is like lagging. Like, hello. Girl, we're still live. Keep it cute. Not my stream. The Peacock is like fucking up. Literally, I'm like, girl, keep it together. Like, the audio keeps coming out. I'm like, girl, be serious. I think it's because people are swearing, but it's like, who cares? No, it's everybody. Can this ref shake it off? Like, you got kicked once. I woke up in a new Bugatti. Why does Cody have like a thong cut out on the front of his attire? Oh, it's supposed to be a bull? What is it supposed to be? It looks like a jock strap. Oh, this is it. Oh, this is it. This is it down. This is done. No way. Oh! I'm gagged, bitch. Oh my god. I'm gagged. I'm gagged. I didn't think they were gonna do that. Oh, I'm gagged, bitch. Gagged. Oh, Roman's making 1,000 days 100%. But what is he gonna lose it at? SummerSlam? He's not making another Mania. Wow. Even after the Usos lost it, I'm gagged. Wow. So what's next for Cody then? Wow. I don't think it was a bad ending at all. I think it was a pretty good ending to shock everybody. I'm gagged. Wow. Props to the gentlemen. They did a great job. Oh, Twitter is about to go up, bitch. Can someone go back and get my face when I got gagged, screenshot it, and send it to me at the reaction of that? Oh, bitch, I'm gagged. Wow. I mean, I was right. Roman's retaining. I called it. But wow. Wow. So what's Cody gonna do? I mean, they want to give him 1,000 days. There's no way. They want to give him 1,000. Cody could win at Backlash, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Maybe Money in the Bank winner will beat Roman. It's a hard sell. I don't know when he could lose it now. Like, it was either this or like another year. You know? Wow. Girl, don't show Shane returning after he just broke his ankles. Don't show Ronda and Shayna winning. Okay, well, WrestleMania Night 1 was definitely better. I'm glad they started with the stronger matches. I was literally gagged, bitch. I don't think I've been that gagged in a while. That was actually crazy. Wow. That's insane. It's crazy. Maybe, but like they can't have I would say so no. Well, we're gonna play video games, but also like wow. I can't believe they have Roman retain. They want him to get 1,000 days, no doubt. 100%. Then I think it's opportunity for him to lose. Wow, that's gaggy. So what now? Okay, let's talk about the match cards. Let's see. So I think the best, let's try to, wait, why is New Day on the card? Why are they here? New Day wasn't in WrestleMania at all. Why are they in this little picture? Okay. Okay, so night 1 was definitely better. 100%. I think the best match of the entire pay-per-view was, it's a rough one. I think I'm gonna give it to the women. I think I'm gonna give it to Charlotte and Rhea. I think out of the entire pay-per-view, I think that had it on edge of the sheet, edge of our seats. Best performance, best build, even though that there was no build, but they still showed out. And I think they did really well with that. I think second would be Dom and Ray, then Gunther versus Drew versus Sheamus, then Seth versus Logan, then Sami and Kevin versus the Usos, then Trish, Lita, and Becky and versus Damage Control, because it should have been longer. Tag women match after that. No, Bianca versus Asuka after that. Then the tag women match. Then the worst matches, I would say, are Omos versus Brock. Very fast ending. That was actually shocking. Like, why? All of the Miz segments which was unfortunate. He kept getting buried. Like, please build him up. He's a great wrestler. It makes me upset because I actually really love The Miz. Also, Maurice not being part of any of the segments when she could have been there kind of made me upset. Theory versus Cena was not great. I think it could have been better. I think it was like really mid. Like, it was really short too. Both matches that started at the top of the night were really short. I wonder why. Very strange. Omos and Brock versus Omos and Brock and Cena and Theory were both really fast matches. So I wonder what that's about. Am I missing any matches? Cody versus Roman, I don't even think I can rank it. I think it's pretty up there. But I'm actually gagged at the outcome. I think it's probably one of the top 3. But again, I'm not a big fan of men's wrestling. I'm just a women's wrestling stan, so I might have a little bias. But I'm actually gagged at the outcome. That was actually crazy. Overall, pretty good match card. I have no idea what the fuck Triple H and WWE executives were teasing about. We're gonna have surprises at Mania. Like, you haven't seen anything yet. Like, there were all very predictable outcomes except for the Roman and Cody match. But like, what were they talking about? I think that was very bizarre. And then what? KSI was like a surprise. Give me a fucking break. And then like whatever. It wasn't really that surprising to me, any of it. I hope the Raw After Mania is good. We'll be doing the same thing tomorrow night because Raw After Mania is one of the big ones. Bring your own viewing source. I can't stream WWE events, so you have to bring your own viewing source. But I will be streaming that as well with pictures. And you can listen along to my commentary because I hope tomorrow we'll be getting a good Raw After Mania. But after that, if you want to watch any of my wrestling stuff and my reviews, I'm going to be doing a review of I'm going to be doing a WrestleMania Hall of Fame and I think those are the 2 we're going to do. WrestleMania and Hall of Fame podcasts will be up in the next week with Onyx and Zane. If you don't know, I have a podcast. You can stream it now. It's available on Spotify called Triple Threat. Look up Triple Threat NemesisLacroix. Should pop up for you guys. It's also available on YouTube. The videos are on Patreon if you'd like to see the full visual videos, except for the last one because I forgot. I deleted the video before I uploaded it. Oops, I guess. But yeah, that's where we talk about most wrestling stuff in depth. We talk about their outfits. We talk about the fashions. We talk about the girls. None of the men. I think if we talk about the men on the podcast, it'll be a quick fire round. We'll be like, what did you think of it? What like 10 out of 10 match, like 0 to 10, how did you think that match was? And then talk about it. But I also don't think Onyx and Zane will watch the entirety of WrestleMania, probably only a women's. So that being said, you can stream my podcast now. I'd like if you guys can like, rate, and review the podcast so we can get some more discoverability and share it as much as you can. It would really mean a lot because the podcast is a labor of love. It's been my project this year to keep it going. What else do we got? So Raw After Mania. Oh, we'll do Stand and Deliver as well. But Stand and Deliver, I think, will be packaged in the WrestleMania podcast. Because I don't think Stand and Deliver is large enough to do its own episode of the podcast unless we do a short one. Yes, podcast is on Spotify. Just look up Triple Threat NemesisLacroix. It should be there. It's a picture of me, Zane, and Onyx as wrestlers. What else for wrestling? I guess. Oh, I caught it. I guess going forward, I could do these more. If you guys like doing the watch-alongs, I could do them for every pay-per-view. And upload them onto YouTube afterwards if you guys enjoyed this. We can do it for all the pay-per-views, but it'll have to be in this structure. So while we watch it, you have to bring your own source. You have to subscribe to Peacock or WWE Network if you're international. You have to watch it by yourself on another tab and then have me pulled up in another tab with no volume. I won't play any music or anything so it doesn't interrupt the stream flow, but we will be watching live. I'm gonna I'll have the music muted because I want to listen to it. But if you guys like this, we can do this going forward. This was an experiment. I didn't think we would actually be able to do this. Hopefully we don't get copyright striked, but I enjoyed my time. So let me know if you want to keep doing this. I enjoyed it. I don't think I would be able to do weekly Friday Night SmackDown and Raw watch-alongs. Maybe we could. Maybe that's something I can investigate just because I do like watching wrestling. But also while Drag Race is on, I take Fridays to myself. So we'll see how it goes. Because Drag Race and SmackDown air at the same fucking time. It's insane. I'm getting splinters from this fan. All right. Now, back to your regular scheduled Nemesis Network stream. We are a streamer. We play video games. If you are new here to my channel and you don't usually watch my streams, we play retro games. We play wrestling games. We play it all over here. Play fighting games, 2D fighter games. I hope so too. I hope I don't get one. I thought it worked really well having you on the Peacock stream simultaneously. Honestly, it felt like you were an extra commentator at times. Oh, that's cool. Is that how you guys were watching it? Like you'd have me in another tab just like while you were watching it and you could hear me in the background? That's actually kind of fierce. I wonder if that works out well. I wonder how you would do that if you weren't watching live. Sounds pretty fun. Predictions for tomorrow night. Hopefully the Iconics, maybe Roxanne call up. I can almost guarantee Roxanne's getting called up tomorrow. Definitely calling that. Mark this, clip this. Roxanne's probably getting called up tomorrow. Iconics maybe return. But maybe not because Ronda, I guess, is going to have the tag title soon. But it would be nice to have them back because I love the Iconics. Who return other than the Iconics? I'm not so sure. Do we have a main roster? Like maybe Katana and Kaden, yeah, maybe. But I think Isla and Alba needs some challengers downstairs. I don't know. The Iconics returning, everything Nem predicted was true. So yeah, if that happens tomorrow, bitch, I'll gag. If fucking Roxanne and the Iconics return, I need to go buy a lottery ticket. And I predicted Roman was gonna win. So I'm not saying I'm a psychic. The Iconics need to save us from Ronda. Please, please. I pray. What was the most disappointing? Was that the last of all time? Because I'm not. I don't think so. I don't think it was disappointing. I think it was alright. It wasn't great, but I know some people are bothered. I'm not that bothered. I think if Roman cements himself as an 1,000-day champion and then calls it, then that's okay. I like just could not see him losing at almost 1,000 days. Yeah. Please not Victoria returning and taking the titles from Roman. I mean, as she should. Oh, wait, no, that's not. Girl, can I please just play the game?